Hi, my name is Martyn Collins. I'm 35 years old. I'm a member of the Labour Party and I'm a student nurse working in the NHS. And the reason I'm making this video is because tomorrow Britain goes to the polls. Tomorrow we're going to decide whether we want to be part of the EU or whether we want to be separate from it. There are lots and lots and lots of arguments either way. And none of them, and I do mean none of them, make any sense. One side gives a figure of this, one side gives a figure of that. Who knows? Who in their right mind could tell you that this is true and this is false, and this is true and this is false? The figures are insane. So I decided to make this video. Video is for one group of people only. The group of people it's not for are for the people who are voting in and the people who are voting out. So right now, if you're in either of those two camps and you're watching this video right here, turn around, go make a cup of tea and watch something else, because your mind will not be swayed no matter what I say. Okay, they've gone. Now you people left, you are the people who are going to decide this election. You are the people who do not know what to vote. My job now is to try and persuade you that we are better, that we are safer, that we are more well off staying inside the EU. Okay, let's go in and let's hit the hot topic first. Immigration. Foreign people come in here stealing my jobs, stealing my wives, stealing my land, taking my rights. I do not want that to happen. That is what the newspapers are telling you is happening. That is not happening. That is not happening. The newspapers have an agenda and they push it in the only way they know how. The enemy are the poorest and most deprived members of society. They do not have a voice. They do not have anyone on their backs. They have nothing. The immigrants are not the problem. Immigrants made this country. Immigrants make this country. You and me have the blood of immigrants in us. Do I think if you come to this country you should speak English? Yes, I do. Do I think if you come to this country you should work? Yes, I do. Should you pay taxes? Yes, you should. Should you use our healthcare system? Yes, you should use our healthcare system if you've paid into it. Should you come to this country and decide to kill people? No, you shouldn't. We are all in agreement that nobody should come to this country with the thought of killing people. That is a universal agreement. We all think that that's what should happen. The Brexiters will tell you that by leaving the EU, our borders are more secure, and that will be something that will be able to be stopped. I'm telling you that over 50% of the immigration into this country does not come from within the EU. The countries that are bringing people here, the countries that are causing these problems are not in the EU. You are voting for something that is not happening. Immigration makes this country money. Immigration employs the people who look after your teeth, who catch your teeth when the dentist throws it out your mouth and it goes flying through the room. Immigration is the reason that when your father had a heart attack, he walked out of that hospital on his own 2 feet because the doctor was Bengali, the nurse Portuguese. Immigration is the backbone of this country. Immigration is the reason that you don't pick fruit and vegetables in a field for minimum wage. Immigration is the reason you can buy a tin of beans in a supermarket and they cost 28 pence, not £3.99. Immigration puts into this country. The second reason I'm voting to remain is jobs. I mean, it goes without saying. The EU and the UK are combined. We are knotted together. We export to the EU as our biggest exporter. They bring goods into us as a massive importer. As soon as we leave the EU, that relationship breaks down. It will need to be renegotiated. Will it be renegotiated in our favour? The Brexiters say yes. We are on our own. Over 20 countries are on the other side. Which side gets the better deal in a negotiation? It's an absolute no-brainer. We need to be in there, on the table, telling them what we want, vetoing things that are bad for this country. We need to be inside. My next reason is red tape. European work-based incentives have halved fatalities in this country since 1996. As soon as we leave the EU, we have to draw up new ones. The current Tory government will be the people in charge of doing that. Can you see the current Tory government making your life easier in work? Making your life safer in work? I can't. Rights of the worker. Maternity leave, paternity leave, sick leave. These things are guaranteed within the EU. They will not be guaranteed without the EU being there. Boris and his lot of Tories will not hold up those rights. You are going to get poorer. Your standard of living is going to be worse. The EU is there to protect our rights, to protect the people who cannot stand up for themselves, disabled, children, people from minorities. These people's rights are protected within the EU, and I want to see it stay that way. Security. Being within the EU allows us to share information between countries on terrorists, criminals, money launderers. Anybody who does anything illegal can be tracked throughout the EU quickly and effectively and then deported back to the country of origin for trial. That will not happen if we leave the EU. We are on our own. We would have to set up trade agreements for moving prisoners, for sharing information. We would be putting ourselves at risk from terrorist attacks if we were to leave the EU. Voting Remain is not voting Remain forever. Voting Leave is voting Leave forever. And that leads on to my biggest point, really. That leads on to the reason I made the video, the reason I'm so upset with the current situation and where we've gone. I think, my own personal opinion, not looking at any statistics or anything, if we leave tomorrow on the 23rd, the current government is gone. David Cameron is gone. And in his place will be Boris Johnson, Michael Gove and Ian Duncan Smith. Standing behind them will be the most right-wing Tories you have ever come across in your life. Goodbye NHS, pensions, workers' rights, industry. They will all be swept away in a Tory wave of privatisation. They will have no interest in the working people of this country. The very people who are voting Brexit are voting in the hangman. You are voting in the person who smiles at you today to get your vote and tomorrow will be taking your job, taking your house. I remember the 1980s. People were walking into the banks and handing their keys in because their mortgages went from £80 a month to £1,000 a month. I do not want to see that happen in this country. Is the EU perfect? No, the EU is far from perfect. But can we do anything about it, being outside it? No, we can't. Can we do anything about being inside? Yes, we can. People talk about Turkey entering the EU and this being a reason that they don't want to be in it anymore. In the late 80s, Turkey started succession talks, as any country has a right to do. And 35 criteria have to be met before they can enter the EU. Since the late 80s, they have met one criteria. At this rate, it'll take 300 years for them to enter the EU, if they enter at all. But this is an issue that is being brought up time and time again. It is an issue you should not be voting on. What you should be voting on is whether you feel the EU is a benefit or a burden. I am telling you, in my opinion, that we are better off and safer within the EU. Please vote tomorrow on the 23rd. Incidentally, if you vote in Brexit, that vote is on the Friday. So go to the same polling station, but the day after. And yeah, whatever you vote, just make sure you vote. It's an important time. It's probably the biggest vote of our generation, really. It'll define us for the next 50, 100 years, maybe. Long after my children have passed. So let's get it right. Just in case, I think Remain will win at the end of the day, but it will be tight. I started looking at houses in France, but that's a little bit complicated. Scotland will certainly vote out because they won't vote to leave, so they'll have another referendum. So there's a chance I could go up north and be part of that, but we'll see. So, well, thanks for watching. And I think some of the people who left earlier, the ins and the outs, just came back in. So go and talk to them and make up your mind. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.